Joe Biden has been ridiculed for his stumbles, mumbles and gaffes for years. But what many people don't know is that his Vice President Kamala Harris is just as bad, serving up cringe-dancing, confused speeches and incompetent leadership. Sky News All-Stars Rita Panahi, Liz Storer and Caleb Bond expose Kamala Harris's cringiest moments. It's clear that US President Joe Biden is losing his mind. The 81-year-old stammers, mumbles and shuffles through life, depending on his close circle of confidants to support him when his brain gives out. There are few people closer to the president than Kamala Harris, but concerningly, the much younger VP isn't any more competent than her boss, explains Sky News All-Star Army Horowitz.
But I'll tell you this. If anybody out there thinks they're going to replace him, they are mistaken. They're not going to be able to replace him because the next in line is Kamala Harris, and they can't replace her because they screwed themselves on DEI. They brought in a completely incompetent vice president because she was a black woman, and now they're stuck with her. And if they do try to replace her with a white man like Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer, a white woman, they will lose their entire left flank. They cannot do it. They'll weaken and Bernie him if they have to. That's what's going to happen.
And it seems Joe Biden was acutely aware of Kamala's incompetence when he hired her, explains Sky News contributor Greg Sheridan.
And he chose Kamala Harris to tick identity boxes, but he also chose her as his vice president because she was so mediocre, as presidents very often do.
Joe Biden's struggle to remain upright is causing voters to question the president. And Kamala's cringy gaffes are doing nothing to restore confidence in the Democrats, according to recent polling. But removing a black woman from a leadership position is political kryptonite, says Obama administration diplomat Brett Bruen.
I'm looking at things too from afar as an observer. I just think politically, if Joe Biden steps down, there's no way they can't choose Kamala Harris politically, right? Do you agree? Or can they get around that? Because, you know, they will isolate a huge section of the Democrat Party if they turn their back on her.
I don't necessarily think it has to be Vice President Kamala Harris. And as viewers in Australia may already be familiar with, she isn't the most popular political figure here. And yet, as you point out, obviously, there is a base of support, including a strong base of support within the Democratic Party. And removing someone who is a person of color, a woman from consideration is just, political kryptonite, especially within the Democratic Party. But at the same time, Biden has essentially created these conditions. Kamala has to go along with him. And so you may see governors like Gavin Newsom in California, Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan, Andy Beshear down in Kentucky, who start to put themselves, or their supporters start to put them forward. And I think, quite frankly, those are our strongest candidates going into November.
And Newsweek senior editor-at-large Josh Hammer doubled down, saying Kamala Harris is less popular than venereal disease.
The problem with Kamala Harris, Rita, as you know, is that she's less popular than venereal disease. I mean, she's just an absolutely horrific politician. She, no one particularly likes her leadership. People leave her office. They leak like a sieve to the mainstream media about what a terrible boss she is. So they're not going to do it. So I am increasingly convinced that Joe Biden actually is here to stay. And again, God help us, because it's not a pretty sight.
You're right about Kamala Harris. She's just floundering. We played some footage of her earlier and it was cringe-worthy.
The criticism of Kamala Harris isn't baseless. The VP has repeatedly displayed cringy behaviour that have put many offside. Elon Musk called out Kamala Harris for her lies about Donald Trump, reveals Sky News All-Star Caleb Bond.
Funnily enough, Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, has been caught out engaging in misinformation and disinformation herself. She tweeted this: Donald Trump would ban abortion nationwide. President Joe Biden and I will do everything in our power to stop him and restore women's reproductive freedom. Let me repeat that. Donald Trump would ban abortion nationwide. why? Well, isn't it good that these days we have things like, I don't know, videos, and I'm not talking about cheap fakes or deep fakes, that we can go back to that prove these kind of statements wrong? Roll the tape.
My view is now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land. In this case, the law of the state. Many states will be different.
So that was April. Donald Trump saying that the states will make their own laws. And now Kamala Harris claims that he will institute a national ban on abortion. It's simply not true. Now, of course, one of the interesting things about the fact that she put it on X, formerly Twitter, Elon Musk's platform, is that these days, when someone puts misinformation or disinformation on X, you can actually go on and make a complaint, and they put a little addendum at the bottom of the tweet or the post or whatever it's called now that points out the actual truth. And Elon Musk himself harnessed this today. He said, when will politicians, or at least the intern who runs their account, which in most cases is probably true, if you check Joe Biden's Twitter account, my God, some of the stuff that's posted on there is just inane. Learn that lying, when will they learn that lying on this platform does not work anymore? I mean, it's just a bald-faced lie. On what basis would she try to claim that there is going to be a nationwide ban on abortion? He's literally never said it.
But after being exposed, Kamala Harris went on to release a cringe video on reproductive rights, explains Sky News All-Star Liz Storer.
You're gonna get those ropeable people that you're after. But of course, that didn't even stop her from then releasing this completely cringe video, once again trying to appeal to women on the basis of, we're protecting your reproduction rights, Trump's gonna take them away.
So what's on your mind? Oh, Madam VP Harris, I'm worried about the election. Women's reproductive rights are on the line. Our Supreme Court is on the line. Our basic freedoms are being tested. Madam VP, I know you've been traveling across the country. What are you hearing?
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me tell you, you're right, Taraji. There is so much at stake in this moment. The majority of us believe in freedom and equality. But these extremists, as they say, they not like us.
They not.
There's a full-on attack on our fundamental freedoms.
A full-on attack on our fundamental freedoms. Don't you just love it? The more they refer to anyone who believes differently to them as extremists.
Kamala Harris's lack of intellect is often the butt of jokes, hilariously exposed by Sky News All-Star Rita Panahi.
Now, another profound bit of communication from the Veep. Here, Kamala Harris explains community banks.
So the importance of community banks is they are, as they are called, they're in the community, led by members of the community. They are people who understand the capacity of the community, the needs of the community, the culture of the community.
Did you get that? Community banks are banks, and they're also in the community. Quite profound there. Let's have some more financial advice from the woman one geriatric heartbeat away.
She was again mocked when she tried to explain presidential elections.
Time to check in with the most powerful woman in the world. Here, Kamala Harris explains presidential elections after she's asked, why is the race so close?
Why is the race so close? These races are always close. It's the election of the President of the United States. And everyone in an election for President of the United States will critically examine all of the issues and make a decision.
Profound, profound. I think I might just listen to that again because Kamala, she just makes you think, doesn't she?
Kamala Harris had another cringe moment when she invited the Queer Eye for the Straight Guy hosts to the White House, explains a confused Liz Storer.
Team at Queer Eye, you may remember the show Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, for I don't even know what. What is the purpose of this? You tell me.
We talk on it.
Anyone have any suggestions? Not only that, but this fellow, whose name is Jonathan Van Ness, got to stand behind the press secretary's podium and have his own presser.
Welcome today, everyone, to the White House. I'd like to briefly answer some questions. Go ahead, I'm ready.
JVN.
Oh, yes.
Is it true that it's all your natural hair?
Yes, I can confirm that this is not a wig.
Follow-up question, do you use your own products?
I do use JVN hair, actually exclusively for over 4 years. Next question.
Now, this is supposed to be celebrating the 20th anniversary of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, but you got to wonder, what on earth is the White House doing being involved? What on earth does this have to do with the government of the day? The obvious answer is, of course, this is the new religion that has been being pushed, whether it's through the schools, through the universities. Every chance they get, they fly the rainbow flag. They're pictured with people who subscribe very clearly to the LGBTIQ way of life. And so this seems to be yet another virtue signal, as in, this is sacred, nobody touch it, you can't poke holes in this. That seems to be, well, it's the only answer I can come up with. Like, what?
The Vice President is also well known for her cringy dance moves. She loves the female talk show circuit.
I've been thinking that we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now.
Yeah.
But in our country, we need you to be Mamala of the country.
But Sky News contributor Amanda Rose says her lighthearted performances are trivialising women.
And while Biden was struggling with the teleprompter, Kamala Harris was handing out confectionery on daytime chat shows.
Oh, I brought you a gift.
Oh, what you brought? Oh! Now, okay, so what is this?
Those are White House M&Ms.
Oh!
And so you see the seal of the president and the name, Joe Biden's signature there. And these are White House M&Ms.
I love White House M&Ms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amanda, is this helping their campaign?
I'll tell you right now, it's not helping women. So he's standing on a lectern talking seriously, you know, or whatever he's saying. But the women, let's giggle on a talk show and shake some confectionery. I think it's quite insulting.
Yeah.
If she wants to represent the future of women in America, talk about serious issues. Talk about the vulnerabilities of women in your own country and how they're dying and can't feed their children. Talk about the key issues. Don't shake some confectionery and giggle about it and expect people to even listen or care. That is going to turn people off them.